Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 36 of the Toronto Thunderbirds franchise here on Madden NFL 22. We have officially made the transition from the Washington football team to the Toronto Thunderbirds. So today we'll take a look at their very first preseason as the Thunderbirds, go through the highlights, go through the roster, and kind of show you what the team looks like going into year 2 of the franchise. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. Now, if you remember, preseason now is only 3 games. This is the roster coming out of the draft. Made a couple of big additions. The big one being signing right tackle Mitchell Schwartz in free agency. And we'll take a look at the draft picks later in the episode. We also made some preseason signings as we brought back a couple of players, and the big one we signed was Ndamukong Suh, who had 9 sacks last year with the Buccaneers and has some familiarity with new coach Sean McVay and their time in Los Angeles. A couple of trades after the draft in the preseason. The Bengals traded Tyler Boyd to the Colts for a pair of second-round picks in the next couple of drafts and Paris Campbell. A big one, the Dolphins trade Devontae Parker and a second-round pick to the Broncos for Kyle Fuller, Dalton Reiser, and KJ Hamler. So a lot of players on the move in that deal as the Dolphins try to strengthen their roster after the Watson trade. The Jaguars and the Panthers make a 1-for-1 trade. They trade Robbie Anderson to the Jags. The Panthers get Andrew Norwell back, a former Panther, reuniting with Ron Rivera. The Dolphins trade Will Fuller to the Lions as well. They traded their top 2 receivers for a second and a third-round pick. So now Jalen Waddle is the lead man in Miami. So the first preseason game is our very first home game at the Rogers Center in Toronto, a packed house for the first preseason game as we take on the Houston Texans, a new-look Texans squad. If you remember, they traded Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins. He finally got his way out of Houston, and the new quarterback is Tua Tagovailoa, who completes his first pass as a Texan in the preseason for 25 yards. Overall, in this game, the Thunderbirds played really well, and the home crowd was able to go home happy, as you'll take a look at in a minute. I'll kind of highlight just the big plays for this one, as well as just who I thought played really good this preseason, as here's J.D. McKissic getting the handoff. No Antonio Gibson this preseason. He actually held out, so the defending NFL Offensive Player of the Year award hasn't got a new contract yet. He thinks he's worth a lot. So he decided to sit out the preseason. He will be back for week 1 without a new contract, but that's something to look out for. Part of the reason why we drafted Kyrell Williams in the second round. Our first drive ends with a touchdown to Curtis Samuel, so the starters, who only played a quarter in this game, looked very solid on the first drive. The defense, I thought, also looked really good. As you can see, they get to Tua here. Matthew Ioannidis, who led us with sacks last year with 16, brings down Tagovailoa. Later in the drive, though, we got a 3rd and 9 here. In the red zone is Houston, as Tua drops back, throws right side, and the play is broken up by Kendall Fuller. Nice pass defense. In our second drive, though, Fitzpatrick looks across the middle, and he gets intercepted, picked off. That was a trend last year with Fitzpatrick. He threw 19 interceptions, and despite being 39 years old, he is the quarterback for this season in Toronto. And he looked okay, I would say, just in his couple of drives. We get a pick right back, though. Here is Isaac Yiadom, the new Toronto Thunderbird, brought over in free agency. He also played very good. Him and Trey Herndon both played really well in this game. Both ended up with interceptions. And here was Kyle Allen, our backup quarterback. We re-signed him to be the backup on a 2-year deal. He hands off to Kyrell Williams, who goes way backwards on his first carry. And that was also an illegal block in the back on the other rookie, Zay Flowers. So not a good start for them. On the second play, though, with Kyrell Williams in the backfield, he gets the handoff and goes right side and shows his speed. A 43-yard touchdown to the house, the second-round rookie at Notre Dame. Part of the reason why we brought him over is just that explosiveness. He's only 5'9" as a running back, but with Gibson maybe having some contracts hold up in the future, he is a good insurance policy to have. Overall, the defense played really well. Here's a throw off the back foot for the right side. There's the interception to Trey Herndon. So both corners who we signed, who are both competing for that nickel corner spot, both come away with interceptions. So I thought both of them played well. I thought the defense as a whole looked really solid. We did good in run defense. Kyle Allen now 1st and 10, throws it right side. Big time throw to Adam Humphries, who we brought back in the preseason signings. See if he can maybe be that slot receiver. He showed a lot of promise towards the end of last year, and we're giving him a shot to compete. Here is Rodrigo Blankenship, the kicker we signed in free agency. We actually brought back Hopkins in preseason as well for a little mini kicker competition. However, it really was Rodrigo's job to lose, and I don't think Blankenship missed a kick. So Rodrigo Blankenship is the new kicker. Here was a very interesting play. It was 4th and 2, and the Texans audible to a field goal that goes like 5 yards into the hands of the rookie Overshown. I have never seen the CPU do that. You audible into a field goal with your quarterback as the kicker. That was so odd. I could not stop thinking about that play for the rest of the game. Anyway, that gives us the ball at our own 48 where Kyle Allen immediately goes down. So some pressure up the middle with that backup offensive line unit. But here's 2nd and 18, going right back underneath center. Allen drops back, throws left side, has Humphries who drops the pass. Nice dot by Allen. Fortunately, Humphries had a couple of drops. But here on 3rd and 18, Allen steps up in the pocket. Big time throw to Humphries. That was probably my favorite offensive play. Great pocket presence by Allen. He steps up, finds Humphries. He makes up for his mistake. That moved the chains on that drive, getting us inside the red zone where here's Bates who scores for a touchdown. Toronto gets more points on the board. It's now 24-3 at this point. Now 24-6 as the first half is coming to an end. And Allen throws it deep. Here is what Zay Flowers does best. Shows off that 96 speed. He can get separation. We have some deep threats in McLaurin and Samuel, but none of them have the speed that Zay Flowers does. So that's what he's going to bring to the team. Very excited to see what the 3rd-round rookie can do when he's on the field. Here was another surprise. We signed Josh Adams to just kind of be a power back in preseason while Gibson sits out. And he was very impressive. You saw on that 13-yard drive, he broke like 3 tackles. Adams played last year with the Jets, and he had 484 yards and 3 touchdowns. So a solid day or a solid season for Josh Adams in a reserve role. So brought him in preseason, and he showed out. Here's another carry by Adams, some patience, and he gets through the line. And Josh Adams really makes a case for a roster spot, at least in this first game. Taylor Heinicke, the 3rd-string quarterback, is also in the game, and he takes a sack fumble here. That was also a problem we had last year with Fitzpatrick, because we took too many sack fumbles, and Taylor Heinicke does one there. Back up for Houston is Davis Mills. There's no more Tyrod Taylor in Houston, and the 2nd-year man gets sacked this time by Smith Williams, who also had a really good preseason. More of him in the later games, though. 3rd and 21 from the pistol. Here's Mills, and he's going to be sacked again. There's like all 4 in the backfield. It's a sack fumble. Smith Williams again with the sack. Fortunately for Houston, their 1st-round rookie gets hurt on the play. I think he'd be okay. But now our drive, 3rd and 8. Here's Heinicke, throws, and he misses a wide-open receiver. So Heinicke, reason why he's a 3rd string, he's also fighting for a roster spot. Here's more good run defense. That's Kalechi Hudson, who played a lot last year with a nice solid run defense. This is kind of where he thrives as DeShazier Everett comes on a blitz and he brings down Davis Mills. The defense was flying all over the place in this first game. Only gave up 6 points to the Houston Texans. Here's a handoff. Here is Adams again. There's a little bit of breakaway speed as he gets away from the defenders. Brings it to 20. 10 carries for 67 yards for Josh Adams so far. Jarrett Patterson also getting some work. This is the undrafted player out of Buffalo, and he gets up and dodges the tackle. I never get that to work, and I was able to time that perfectly, so that was a really good highlight for myself. 2nd inches, now the defense back out on the field, and Mills throws right side. There's a wide open receiver, so some of the backups showing a little bit of weakness. I mean, you can't expect everybody to be playing to perfection. Now they got goal to go from the 5. It's a handoff left side, and he's stuffed. There's Ndama Kansu showing out in run defense. Can't believe he was a free agent. 3rd and goal now. Can we get a goal to go stand? Yes, we do. They bring down Davis Mills. It's a tag team effort. I don't know why Chase Young was on the field, but he brings Mills down with ease, and they're going to go for it on the 4th and goal. Why not? Mills throws to the back of the end zone. It's overthrown for everybody, and great defensive effort. And this one starting to come to a close. Defense back out on the field now 33-6. As Mills in the pocket is going to try to throw a deep ball, but he gets brought down. That is, I think, John Bostic, another guy we brought back in preseason to try to fight for a roster spot, our starting linebacker last year. Then we're going to cap it off with a score for Jared Dokes, another backup halfback, just kind of getting some work, and we beat down the Texans 40-6 in this first game. A lot of highlights to go around. The home fans hoping we can see this in the regular season. This is our only home preseason game, so the Toronto fans get a little bit of a taste to see what the Thunderbirds can bring. You can see all of the stats here on your screen. Played very good, and that's going to bring us into our second game. We're going to go into the road in Pittsburgh as we head to Heinz Field to face the new era in Pittsburgh. The Ben Roethlisberger era is over. I know it's sad. Didn't officially retire, but the Steelers did move on. They have cut to Roethlisberger, and in comes Jameis Winston, the former Saint. Here's a 2nd and 6 carry to J.D. McKissick, who's also trying to get a job back. Remember, he wanted 3 years in the offseason. Nobody offered him 3 years, so we gave him a 1-year prove-it in preseason, and McKissick did very good. Fortunately, though, here is an interception from Minkah Fitzpatrick, the other Fitzpatrick to Fitzpatrick. He read the other one like a book, gets an interception for the Steelers, and this is where we struggled at in this game. I talked about how our defense played really good in the Texans game. Unfortunately, in this Steelers game, our run defense was like non-existent. And the starters played the whole first half, but we could not stop Najee Harris, who has really broken out as that lead back in Pittsburgh. He takes this whole drive basically to the house. As even with Jonathan Allen, even with Daron Payne and Ioannidis and Chase Young and Montez Sweat, we just could not stop Najee Harris. Here's another drive for the offense. There is Samuel with the catch, but Mitchell Schwartz is actually hurt on the play. He would miss the next preseason game. He will be okay, though, for the regular season opener. He just won't play any more preseason. Nice 3rd and 3 pass to Adam Humphrey, showing a little bit of separation. Nice protection there as well from the offensive line. Gives Fitzpatrick some time. Fortunately, we don't come away with a touchdown on that drive. Here's Jameis Winston with the Steelers trying to make a good first impression. He throws it left side, and Johnson breaks the tackle and takes it to the house. So not only was the rush defense a problem this game, our tackling wasn't that good either. That should not have been a touchdown. But the Steelers jump out 14-3. So now the offense see what they can do playing from behind. And Fitzpatrick gets strip sacked. Not even a sack fumble. TJ Watt literally just took that ball right from the hands of Fitzpatrick. Not a good showing for Fitzpatrick here in this game. Not a good showing for the run defense. All the good things that we did in the game 1, we did a lot of bad things in game 2. This is a game you'd like to forget, as there's another touchdown for the Steelers. They go up 21-3. The starters still in the ball game. And Fitzpatrick, though, nice shot to Diami Brown. Had a very good rookie year out of North Carolina. Hopefully he can bring a lot more of that to year 2. 2nd and 6, here is Harris, who breaks another tackle. Cameron Curl can't bring him down. He sheds another tackle of Collins before finally going down. See, that's what I'm talking about. Najee Harris just could not be stopped. Here's a 3rd and 20 handoff to Harris, and yeah, they convert a 3rd and 20. That just tells you what kind of day it was for our run defense. They were just, can't say it enough, absolutely putrid. Just could not stop the power of Najee Harris. Thankfully, here are the backups in, as the new backup for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Dorian Thompson-Robins, the undrafted rookie at UCLA. Forced him to throw it away, and then here on 2nd and 8, though, Kyle Allen completely misses his receiver. Throws it right arm into the arms of the Pittsburgh Steelers defender. Just not a good day for any of our quarterbacks in this one. Here's a handoff to the backup running back. Thankfully, we were able to stop him. That was Ike Yadam in run defense. 30-6 now for the Steelers. Allen 3rd and 14. Throws to the sidelines, and he gets intercepted. Just threw way too many interceptions, way too many turnovers in this game. That was a problem last year. Hopefully we're just getting it all out in preseason. The defense played a little better in the backups, at least, as the backups didn't have to go against Winston and Najee Harris and Juju Smith-Schuster and company. But they still give up a 4th and 3 fullback dive. Now 33-6. Allen swing pass out to Kyrell Williams, and Williams is going to show that speed. Nobody covers him out of the backfield. He had a very good game against Pittsburgh. I like to see him do more of that in the passing game. We can give Gibson more of a rest this year, because on a side note, I have turned on progressive fatigue, so I doubt we'll see the same amount of workload for Gibson as he did last year. Allen does run this one in for a touchdown, so the Toronto Thunderbirds do get a 6-pointer in this game, bring it now 33-13. In the fourth quarter we go. Taylor Heineke now in the ball game. He's going to be sacked from behind by McDonald the fourth. As once Schwartz went out, Sam Cosmi actually came in, and he got hurt as well, and he's actually going to miss the first game of the regular season. So we're down to a third-string right tackle, and they had a lot of trouble on that side. Here's a nice fourth down conversion to the undrafted rookie tight end Braden Galloway out of Clemson, who I thought showed out really good in preseason as well. Somebody I definitely have my eye on for the future. Nice conversion there to the 28. Heineke looking pretty decent in this game. Is now on 1st and 10. He's going to have pressure in his face, but Heineke's got some wheels. He's able to run away from the pressure and actually pick up a first down. So that's not something we see out of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He has like no mobility. So it's kind of nice to see it in these backups in Heineke and Allen. And here's Jarrett Patterson able to punch it in for a score. So the Thunderbirds get 2 late touchdowns, making it 33-20. Now 4 minutes left to go in this game, and we still cannot stop the running game. Even if it's the backup, Benny Snell also had a very good game for us. It's a very good backup running back to have in Pittsburgh. As here on 3rd and 1, just powers forward for a first down, and that'll bring us to the end of this preseason game. Steelers beat us 33-20. Looked a little bit more respectable than it actually was, but we dropped this one. Moving to 1-1 in the preseason. Here's a look at the stats. None of the quarterbacks really played that well. Kyrell Williams did decent. Eric Ebron had a pretty decent day against us. Hopefully we have some fixtures at the linebacker group. Still trying to get that taken care of. Offensive line was not overly that impressive. Gave up a couple of sacks, threw a couple of picks. And we get some upgrades as Dyami Brown moves to a 75 overall. Like I said, hoping for a big season out of him this year as well. Get some reserve linebackers, some upgrades. Casey Toohill, saw him briefly last season in a reserve role once we had some injuries to Chase Young. A couple of the backup wide receivers as well who were on the practice squad last year, Kawan Baker. And then we had a couple of injuries, like I mentioned, Sam Cosmi and Mitchell Schwartz. So we're actually down right tackles and actually decided to sign one just to kind of fill out the rest of the preseason. And the only one we had on our roster was undrafted rookie Jordan Tucker out of North Carolina. And just in case he got hurt, I wanted to have another one, so I wasn't just depleting the offensive line before the season started. So we brought in Austin Declius, a undrafted rookie out of LSU, to kind of help fill out the preseason. And we release a practice squad wide receiver from last year, Anthony Ratliff Williams. Which brings us to our last preseason game as we are in Minnesota to face the Minnesota Vikings. We'll actually see the Vikings this year in the regular season, however. And this was a little bit of a dress rehearsal as the starters play 3 quarters as they get ready for the regular season. There's a nice pass by Fitzpatrick out to Terry McLaurin. And they drive inside the 10, and on 3rd and 6, find McLaurin, but he cannot bring it in. That was a missed opportunity as the Toronto gets 3. Kirk Cousins still the quarterback out in Minnesota. Don't know for how much longer. And once again, the run defense had a pretty not spectacular day. Dalvin Cook was able to get going against us. However, here's a 3rd and 11 bomb to the left side, and it's caught on the tip by Terry McLaurin. The rookie Ahmad Gardner had it in his hands. He dropped it right into the arms of Terry McLaurin. And to make matters worse, they called pass interference against Gardner. So that's a bad play overall from the rookie corner, but he is a rookie. I do think Sauce has a big future ahead of him in Minnesota. So at this point, Thunderbirds are up 10-0, and we actually get some pressure this game on the Minnesota quarterbacks. There's Matthew Ioannidis with another sack. About a minute and a half to go. 2 drives later, Minnesota back with the football, and this time we able to break the backfield. There's Jonathan Allen and company stopping him in the backfield. Now 3rd and 7. Minnesota forced to throw, and we get more pressure and bring Cousins down in the end zone for a safety. That's Chase Young bringing down Cousins, and Toronto gets a 12-0 lead now. Into the second quarter we go. Here's a 3rd and 13 play for Fitzpatrick, and he sacks, fumbles again. Our lineman just headbutts the football, and there's more of that problem. Chase Roulier, our center, gives up the pressure. But Fitzpatrick's just got to do a better job of taking care of the football when he's getting sacked. We force 3rd and 10 against Minnesota and throws off his back foot for the end zone, and it's going to be caught. Don't know what Kendall Fuller was looking at. It could have easily been intercepted. Instead, it's a touchdown to Adam Thielen. Minnesota now back with the football, gaining some momentum, down by 5. But we bring Cousins down again. There's Jonathan Allen now getting involved in the sack department. 1st and 10 from their own 48 now. Cousins throws left side. He gets intercepted. There is Cameron Curl with the pick. Curl's a good safety. He doesn't get a lot of interceptions. I'd like to see him step that up this year. But there's a nice play by Curl, jumping up, coming down with the football. And I'd like to just get more interceptions as a whole this year. We take this drive to the 27, where there's a nice pass over the middle to Logan Thomas, who had over 1,000 yards last year receiving. A breakout season for Logan Thomas, hoping for more of the same this year. We get 3rd and goal. We throw it to McLaurin. There's the conversion for a touchdown. So Toronto extends their lead, takes advantage of the interception before the end of the half. Now up 19-10, 26 seconds to go in the first half. Cousins in the pocket, and he's going to be sacked again, as this time brought down by Matthew Ioannidis, as that'll take us to the end of the first half. Starters come out for the 3rd quarter. Here's Fitzpatrick on a 2nd and 10, throws it right side, and there is J.D. McKissick this time out of the backfield. No more of his a receiving back, so if we can get more of that from McKissick, that would be very ideal. It's 3rd and 17 later in the drive. Trips to Fitzpatrick's left. He looks across the middle, and he finds Samuel at the sticks. Nice protection. Nice job by Fitzpatrick. Just sit in the pocket and wait. Let the play develop. Now 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. McKissick in the backfield. He gets the handoff, and he punches it in for a score. So showing that we really don't need to rely as much on Gibson as we did last year. I like Antonio Gibson. He'll definitely be good to have him back, as overall as a whole the run game is actually not that impressive in this game. Not a lot of highlights as you see from the running department. Here's a 2nd and 5 play fake, wide open man left side, getting away from the defender. And also a side note in this game, as I'll mention, I did change some of the numbers before this one, so if you were seeing some of the players with retired numbers, I did fix it. I'm going to try to focus more on that in regards to the CPU team, but I don't remember who I changed, but somebody did have number 7. I did take that off of him. But yeah, so more on that. I don't want you to see retired numbers. There's a nice run defense play by James Smith-Williams on back-to-back plays. So Smith-Williams actually did enough for me to guarantee him a roster spot. That's how you show out in preseason. Here's a 1st and 10 play. Kellen Mond, the backup in Minnesota, showing off his wheels. Mond trying to solidify himself as the successor to Kirk Cousins. I don't know if he's done enough yet, but maybe some of the Minnesota faithful, especially with Mike Zimmer on the very much hot seat, maybe he does turn to Kellen Mond, as there's a screen pass that works out to Alexander Madison for a score. Now 25-23, 3rd and 15. We got Allen in the shotgun here, and he's going to have 1-on-1 on the right side. Throw a deep bomb, and it is Zay Flowers just running by the defense for a touchdown. That is elite speed. I cannot wait to take advantage of that. Zay Flowers showing out in the preseason, and we win this game 32-26, so we end the preseason 2-1. And now it's time to make some preseason roster cuts after we look at the stats. This is always my least favorite part of the preseason, is having to trim the roster. It's always a tough decision. As you could take a look, the running game, not much there. The receiving game, there was the big bomb to Zay Flowers that really stood out. Some of the starters did very good as well. I thought overall the starting dress rehearsal did well. They were technically winning, so can't really argue with that. And like I said, we will see Minnesota later in the season, so that was a little bit of a preview for when we play the Vikings later on. Mitchell Schwartz gets an upgrade. He was going to be healthy for the opener, like I mentioned earlier. Here's one for backup safety Derek Forrest, who gets up to a 70 overall. He's got good speed for his safety, just not good in coverage. Sam Cosmi, who started at right tackle towards the end of last year. I'd still like to continue developing him, as Mitchell Schwartz ain't going to be around forever. And I think Sam Cosmi could be a successor at that right tackle spot. Shaka Toney gets an upgrade as well. Saw him a little bit last year with the Young and Montez Sweat injury. And here's a look overall at the preseason stats. No quarterback really stood out. I think Kyle Allen looked the best. Best running back in my eyes was Kyrell Williams. I'm excited to see what he does in a backup role with Antonio Gibson spelling him more often. Receiving had to be Zay Flowers, just big play after big play. As far as the offensive line, I thought the right tackle, Jordan Tucker, the third stringer, didn't look overly impressive, but that's why he's a third stringer. Defense did okay. I'd like to see a little bit more. Here's the people I cut. I cut John Ridgway, Brian Cole, DeShazier Everett, Dustin Hopkins got cut. Taylor Heineke also. We're only going to carry 2 quarterbacks. And a couple of the other ones, AJ Klein and John Bostic, did not make the team. Here is the practice squad as well. Some of the highlights, Jarrett Patterson on the practice squad, as well as Braden Galloway. He makes the practice squad. Surprising cut. The Dolphins cut Kyle Fuller. So they traded for him earlier in the episode, and then they cut him. I don't know what the issue was with Fuller out in Miami, but they obviously didn't want to keep him around. It looks like they really wanted Dalton Reisner. But he doesn't even make it through the preseason with the Dolphins, and he's actually going to end up in Indianapolis. So the Colts get a nice, solid corner to put in their secondary. Here's our roster going into week 1 of the regular season. You see Sue made the roster, Josh Adams made the roster, as well as Adam Humphries. So those guys making a claim do end up getting their spots on the 53-man roster. Here's a look at our schedule. We have 3 primetime games this year. We face the Packers in week 7 at home on Monday night. We have a Sunday night matchup against the Cardinals, as well as one on Thursday night against the Jaguars. We play the AFC South and I think the NFC North this year. So next episode will be week 1. We travel to Cincy, so we're going to have to wait on our home opener in Toronto. And the Bengals were a playoff team a season ago. Didn't really make too many big moves in free agency. They did bring in David Njoku to be their starting tight end, and they did trade away Tyler Boyd at the beginning of preseason because they believe a lot in Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, that LSU connection, as Burrow now fully recovered from his injury, last year's comeback player of the year. He is the man now in Cincinnati, an 80 overall. Solid quarterback as he continues his development. Can't forget about Joe Mixon as well in the running game, a sleeper top 10 running back in the league, so we got to worry about him. And it's Jamar Chase's world there as wide receiver, X Factor. He is going to blossom in Cincy. On the defense, DJ Reader anchors that D-line, but I do think they're a little bit weaker on this side of the football. They still do have Jesse Bates, but I think if you can avoid Bates, you can have some success in the passing game against Cincinnati. That'll be coming to you guys next. We'll finally get to the regular season. I know it's taken a journey to get to year 2 opening week, but we are here and episodes will start rolling in. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.